Hi, this is Steve. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another installment of the DeAgostini Collectibles GT40. I will be working on pack number 6. Now, if you haven't done so already, head over to DeAgostini Collectibles and subscribe to this car today. I put a promo code and direct link down below in the description. So, without further ado, let's get started. This month we received 5 more stages with pack number 6, stages 23 through 27. Stage 23 we received the rear partition, and we're going to add more parts to that. Stage 24 we start on the gauge cluster. Stage 25 we add parts, switches, and gauges to the gauge cluster. Stage 26, this is the front of the instrument panel, the top. And stage 27 we add some vents and the shifter lever. Let's get started with stage 23. And for stage 23, I'll go ahead and show you the entire magazine for this stage. Remember that these magazines are about 12 to 13 pages front to back. A lot of research was done with these articles, beautiful photographs going along with this. So this time they're featuring the AC Cobra, and that's fantastic there. Beautiful car. And then they give us the step-by-step instructions for assembling this stage, which we're going to assemble the fuel pump shutoff switch. And a lot going on there. And we'll show you this more in detail as we do it. And of course, that's it there. So let's get a close-up of the build instructions. Let's go ahead and look at the build instructions. So for the build instructions, we start on the fuel pump shutoff switch. And these are all the parts that were included with this stage, along with the screws there. And you can see here, we start working on the fuel pumps themselves, installing all the lines. And I'm pretty sure since we're installing rubber hoses on this, we're going to want to super glue all these into place. So we'll get that ready. And then we continue working on the rear partition, and this time we go ahead and trap that window in. So if you didn't glue yours in, you'll be okay, because this should lock it in place. Anyway, the gluing, it doesn't hurt anyway, because it should help it from rattling or anything like that in between those two parts. And then we install the rear partition on the lower floor. Let me get the parts, and I will be right back. And here's the parts for stage 23. I'll go ahead and take these out. We'll get a closer look. And here's those parts. We received FP01 and FP02 screws. Here's the rear partition, and it is plastic. And you can see how it goes up against the window there that we glued in place. But anyway, I wouldn't say it exactly traps it in place. So it probably is a good idea to glue that window in. That way it doesn't rattle around a little bit later or fall out, because it could fall out. Looks great there. And then a fuel pump assembly, which is also made of plastic. 2 of the hoses for that. Looks great. And that's it. So let's go ahead and get started. And first thing we do is we install the hoses on the fuel pump. And the fuel pump here looks very nice. Looks just like what's on the real car. Now this line here, the shorter one, is actually keyed. There's a half moon shape to it, and you can see that there on the bottom. So it only goes in one way. And I think I'm going to just add a little super glue to it so it will stay in. Press that down, and that's how that looks. Super glue should set, and it shouldn't really go anywhere after that. Next we install this line, and that's going to go in on this side of the pump. It's going to insert into that. I'm going to add some super glue to the inside there. And push that in. Just like that. This line here is going to go in the middle right there. So I'm going to put a little super glue on it. And I'm going to push it in. There we go. And the other line is going to go in the middle on the other side. So we'll put some glue on that too. Just like that. That's how that looks there. Next, we're going to go ahead and mount that to the rear partition, and you want to make sure that these are facing up, and there's a keyway here for this that matches, so that's going to key in to that. Okay, so one FP01 screw goes into this. If I can get a hold of it here. There we go. And you can just see where it goes into right there. And screw it down. There we go. That's how that looks there. Next, we're going to go ahead and install this on the rear partition. So we'll bring that over, and you can see it's going to mount on this side. And like I said, I did glue that down. It's just going to ensure it's not going to slide out or come loose later on, and it's also going to prevent it from rattling. So it is probably a good idea to go ahead and glue it. So it just goes together. We're going to put in 5 FP02 screws into it. First one. And that's how that looks there. Looks great. Now we're going to mount this to the floor. Go ahead and bring over the floor, and it's going to mount back here on the floor. And we're going to run that fuel line over here. So, as I put this down on the floor, it mounts into those slots. And you can see we have that fuel line that's going to run into that floor too. We can put that in a little bit later. And we're going to put in FP01 screws from the underside. First one will go right there. And you can see where that is. And the last one. And that's good there. And that looks great there. We'll take our fuel line and we'll put that in place. And you can see it just right there. And that goes right there. Perfect. Looks great. And that's all we do for stage 23. Let's head over and do stage 24. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 24. And here's the instructions for stage 24. This time we received the instrument panel. That's what that looks like. Let me get the parts and I'll be right back. Here's the parts for stage 24. I'll take this out, we'll get a closer look. And here's the instrument cluster for stage 24. Made of plastic, looks very nice. So we don't actually do anything with this stage because we still need parts to put on it in the next following stages. So let's go ahead and head over and do stage 25. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 25. Stage 25, we start on the instruments. So these are all the parts we received. So then we start installing the stickers for the instruments. And we start installing some of the toggle switches. And that's how they look. Let me get the parts and I'll be right back. Here's parts pack for stage 25. Let me take these out and I'll be right back. And here's all the parts. These are the instrument gauges that we'll be installing. This is the instrument gauge backing plate. Clear lens for it. The toggle switches. All made of plastic. FPO2 screws. And lastly, the stickers for the instruments. I'll give you a close-up look of that. Now we'll start putting the stickers in place. First one we put on is the gray one here that goes on the left. So I'll remove it from its backing. There we go. And it's simply just going to go down. It's kind of an oval shaped sticker. And that goes just like that. And then we put on the rest of the gauges going across. And all the rest of the gauges look the same, so it doesn't matter where they go. So I'll be right back and show you that complete. And there they are, all installed. Looks good. Next we're bringing over our instrument panel itself, and we're going to insert the switches into the instrument panel. We'll turn it over. The larger one here first, and that's going to insert from the back side. Just like that. Same with the other one. There you go. And that's what they look like there. Next we bring over the clear lens, and that's going to insert just like that. And we'll bring over our instruments, and that should trap everything in place. And we'll put in 2 screws, one here, one here. We'll leave that open. FPO2 screws go into this. And 2. And that's how that looks there. Looks great. And that's all we do for stage 25. Let's head over and get started on stage 26. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 26. Stage 26, we receive the top of the instrument panel, and that's what that looks like there. And we simply just install the top of the instrument panel. We'll put in, looks like, 3 screws into this. FPO1 screws go into this. And that's what it looks like. Let me get the parts and I'll be right back. Here's parts for stage 26. I'll take this out and I'll be right back. And we received FPO1 screws, and here's the top of the instrument panel. Let's get it started. I'll bring over the instrument cluster, and this is going to go on top of that. And just like that, it's going to mate down on top, and we're going to put 3 screws into it. FPO2 screws. That's good there. And 2 more to go. And the last one. And that's how that looks there. Looks great. That's all we do for stage 26. Let's do stage 27. Let's look at the build instructions for the final stage for Pack 6, stage 27. This time we received the Gearshift and air vents, and these are all the parts. Have us a thunderstorm out back. I don't know if you can hear it, but a pretty good one today for us here in the Southwest. It's been so warm that we've had a lot of rain, cold rain mixed with warm temperatures, giving us those thunderstorms. The gear shift lever there goes in. Looks cool. Looks very nice. Put our seats in onto the floor there. Looks great. Let me get the parts and I'll be right back. Here's parts for stage 27. I'll take these out. We'll get a closer look. Once again, we received FPO1 and FPO2 screws, the gear shift lever, which is made of plastic, chrome plated, the bracket for that, the shifting bracketry for that, the air vents. And go ahead and put in the driver's air vent first. So we need to turn this over, and it's going to go into that hole right there. Just like that. FP01 screw goes into this. Just like that. That's how that looks there. Looks cool. We'll put it in the other side, passenger side over here. There it is. Slide down on top of that. And we'll put 2 FP02 screws, or we'll put in 2 FP01 screws into this. And the last one. And that's how that looks there. Looks great. Next we're going to go ahead and put the seats into the chassis. Okay, so to prepare myself for putting the seats in, just to make everything easier, I took and I taped back the shoulder harness seat belts, and I taped down the other seat belts. Now this needs to slot into the side. So we'll do that first. Slot it in, okay, and then go straight down onto those mounting points. Once it's straight down on the mounting points, I'll take my file, needle file, make sure the holes are lined up. Feels like they are, and put our screws in. FP02. And the last screw in. And there we go. Take the tape off. And there you go. And on the bottom side, those 4 screws weren't very easy to put in. The big thing is trying to line them up and get them in place. I finally did get them in, but it was very difficult to do so, just to let you know. And it looks great. And there you go. Everything is completed all the way up to stage 27, and that completes pack number 6. This is what it looks like so far. We've completed the instrument cluster, instrument panel itself, and now the floor with the seats installed, the back partition, and the brake lines in the back. Very cool. Remember, you can head over to DeAgostini Collectibles and subscribe to this build today. It's fantastic, and I'm having a blast building it so far. So if you like my content, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. Happy modeling, everybody, and take care.